What's going on social media platforms? Now, earlier I shared a picture, with Terry Joe Jr. saying, his YouTube video, you know, him basically saying why having a girlfriend is not worth it, right? And I meant to get, I had meant to get around to it at the time when I shared it. I just was busy as fuck. But I've had a nap. I've been home for the most part of most of the day. I even got off early today, which is rare for me, and I'm rested. So this one of them topics apparently is requested to some degree, but I want to give you my thoughts on it, right? Because certain things when I hear it or see it, I find it very compelling. So I want to get into this. Now, first things first, right? Just tell you how I feel about Terry Joel Jr. One, I think he's a very trustworthy dude. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a very straightforward. I feel like if I was to sit in front of Terry Joe and talk to him for real, I think I'd get a pretty straightforward read off him. He gives me kind of a jarhead kind of vibe, like a motherfucker from what's the fuck, the Marines. He gives me that type of vibe, like very clean cut, very straightforward. You know what I mean? Cool. Now, as far as the topic, it's a I don't want to call it a mixed bag. I think it's interesting. I think it's compelling, right? Because there's things that I feel like a lot of shit he's right about and a lot of shit he's wrong about. And I don't, it's very often, well, not very often, it's not a lot of videos that land in the middle of the road for me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this and let you know, right? This is probably going to be a longer video. This ain't going to, I'm trying to do this thing where I make my points quicker, you know what I mean? Because most folks ain't got the attention span, right? To really talk to you about something, well, to sit through a 40-minute video about just shit. I'm a truck driver, so a lot of times I can put on something that's 40 minutes to an hour and just ride around and listen to it, especially on my long stretches of drives when the shit's like maybe if I'm heading out 2 hours and coming back 2 hours. I have time to listen to a motherfucker and their points. So I just wanted to let you know ahead of time if this is not what you about, if you're not about that life, so just fall back off this shit now before you stress yourself out, all right? Now, with all that being said, let's get started. Is having a girlfriend worth it? Well, that depends on a couple factors. Well, no, it's not really depending on a couple factors. It depends on one really big one. I would say it's not worth it if you're not going to be a man. And let me explain what I mean by that. All right? If you're going to be the kind of guy that has a girlfriend and you don't never put your foot down on nothing, you don't ever speak your mind, you don't never stand your ground, you go with the flow, you don't lead, it's not going to be worth it. As a man, if you have a girlfriend and you are not prepared to have a set of balls with that motherfucker, it will take you the fuck under. Like, you have to be very strong up here to really be able to be in a relationship with a motherfucker, right? Because the thing about women is this. It's not all of y'all, but it's some of y'all. A lot of y'all are rooted in sabotage. Meaning, like, if the shit is too peaceful, if it's too easy going, if y'all are having the same day every day. Like, okay, as far as men, right? We can live the same day every day. Shit can be very routine, and we're cool with that, right? Not saying that a girl can't, but they can't fuck with it as much. Like, there has to be shit happening, shit changing, it has to be like dynamic. It's even a touch of chaos. Like, a lot of girls fuck with very chaotic men because it's not boring. And sometimes motherfuckers conflate or confuse peace with being boring. Now, with all that being said, let's get started. Is having a girlfriend worth it? Well, that depends on a couple factors. Well, no, it's not really depending on a couple factors. It depends on one really big one. I would say it's not worth it if you're not going to be a man. And let me explain what I mean by that. All right? If you're going to be the kind of guy that has a girlfriend and you don't never put your foot down on nothing, you don't ever speak your mind, you don't never stand. Second thing, a lot of having a girlfriend is going to depend on your stress level. That's why I tell, like, okay, there's a discussion me and my cousin had about maybe 2 weeks ago, right? And we've both come to the same axis of, like, just with women in general and the things in our lives. Listen, as a man being in a relationship, you have to lead. You have to. Whether the leadership is not big or small. What I'm saying is this. Your stress level literally depends on it. Literally depends on it, right? Literally. You cannot be in a relationship with a motherfucker. Let them do and say and have whatever way they want to have with you. Because the thing about men is we need like a mental stability up here in order to be in the right frame of mind to make decisions, right? You know what I mean? The way a woman feels is like it comes, goes, it's up, down, left, right. I'm upset. I'm happy today. I'm sad today. I feel this way. Like compared to a man and the way we think, a woman's thinking is very erratic. So it can be a lot if you don't know how to manage it. Now, which brings me to my first point. Well, not my first point, but you get it, right? A lot of this not wanting to have a girlfriend shit kind of is rooted in fear. Let me explain, right? Most men, when they speak about women, they speak about women from the position of like fear, meaning like, oh, she could do this to me. She could take my kids from me. She could, take my house from me. She could, listen, a lot of that shit probably can't and won't happen if you vet a motherfucker. But for the most part, most men don't vet women. They don't, like, okay, what most niggas do is they get with a girl, they like her a lot, and they want to have sex. They want to have sex quickly. So that already, for the most part, if you're not someone that's willing to walk away from wanting to have sex quickly, or just like in gen, like, okay, if your hormones are taking over to the point where you are willing to put up with a bitch bullshit, you will automatically from the jump start in a very subservient position. Meaning that this girl know you want to fuck. You want to fuck. And she knows that you're willing to do anything to fuck. This is a lot of, personally, Southeast Georgia niggas. Like, I'd say Southeast Georgia specifically because niggas from where I'm from will trick off on a motherfucker if it means fucking. Most niggas are not in the headspace, at least particularly from where I'm from, to where they can walk away from a piece of ass if a woman ain't acting right. Most niggas would rather stay, deal with their bullshit for the potential of being able to fuck. And that's a lot of men's problems in general. Like, y'all want to get your dick wet so wet bad that you'll take and put up with anything. And you have to be on some type of shit where either, like, if the respect ain't there, you got to be willing to be like, listen, we not fucking today. Like, and you have to be able to go the distance behind some shit when a motherfucker step on your toes. So, I said it to say this, right? I'm not saying women don't deal with consequences. Their consequences are just different than ours. Like, for instance, like you get a speeding ticket as a dude, you're going to have to pay that motherfucker. Like, any speeding ticket that I've ever had, I know was able to talk my way out of it. A woman, on the other hand, could possibly get a speeding ticket, pull out some titties, and get out of the speeding ticket if the cop likes her enough. We just live two different lives. Now, one of the points he made was the whole modern women thing. And personally, me, the whole modern women thing, when I see it on the internet, one, in real life, it's not like that serious. Like, meaning like a lot of this shit that people be talking about with the modern women thing, it's taken from the internet. Like, a lot of y'all are living real lives trying to imitate the internet. The internet is just the internet and that's it, right? But when you go out in public, right, and you go to a bar or a restaurant, that's not a real thing like that. Two, this whole narrative of the modern woman, right? It's created by men. And let me explain, right? Men created the modern women when niggas stop being afraid to lead, right? Listen, there's a guy named Locario I listen to on YouTube. I've been listening to this nigga for about maybe the better part of 8 years, all right? And one of the key things he talks about is leadership. Leadership is such a big deal in a relationship. Like, what most niggas do is that they get in a relationship and they think that the responsibility is even, and it's not, right? You are the head as a man, right? Whether you walk around say it or not, or whether you do it or show it with your actions, however your leadership style is however your leadership style is. Personally, me, I'm someone that leads with my actions. I'm going to do the right thing, and whoever's around me, if they fucking with me, they going to have to at least adhere to that to some degree, right? But, meaning like, okay, you can't be in a relationship and expect a woman to manage herself. And I know it's confusing because you hear a lot of girls talk that boss bitch shit. Listen, women need leadership. I don't give a fuck how a motherfucker feel about it. Like, a motherfucker needs something to look to or something to look to know that this shit gonna be all right, right? If you alright, chances are she gonna be alright. Most girls, for the most part, they tweak out about shit that men are not necessarily gonna get mad about. And Peach, I don't have any food for you. But that's not to say that women are not smart in their own right, but they're not okay. The bulk of the responsibility of the relationship doesn't necessarily fall on them. And then that's why the whole vetting process thing is so important, because you need, like, okay, if the motherfucker you fucking with, their ears don't work, if a woman don't listen, I'm telling you, if a woman don't listen, that shit within itself will single-handedly unheave your whole entire relationship. Because you as a man, you have to be the motherfucker directing this shit. And if a motherfucker ain't taking in nothing you saying or listening to you or understanding what the fuck is going on or whatever the case may be that needs to happen for her own safety and benefit, that's someone you don't need to be around. And most dudes, for the most part, they're not trying to necessarily step into that role. They just want to be able to hang out, fuck, get some drinks, have fun. And that's where most men go wrong at in relationships. So when he's talking about it's not worth it to have a girlfriend, that's what he's really referring to. Because let me put it to you like this, right? A woman is a great asset if you know how to use it correctly. Use it correctly. I'm wrong as hell for saying that. A woman is a great asset if you know how to manage it correctly. I keep saying it. Manage her correctly, right? Now, around this house, right? And you know you don't see it because we're on camera. You know, she has the decorations and everything, all this stuff, decor, the couches. She's my girlfriend's a very organized person, right? She's very organized. She's very on the ball. She's very on top of shit. She manages the kitchen, everything. You know what I mean? But if you don't manage a motherfucker stress level, like, okay, that's not to say that she tweaks out. She does. She has her moments. Most women are gonna have their moments. But you have to be the rock in this situation and let a motherfucker know that when they go too far out into the motherfucking ocean, you're there for them in case they need to swim back. Which leads me to my next point. Problem solving, right? Again, when he's saying that most women are not worth dating, he's referring to the shit that comes with dating women long term, right? Look, when you just fucking a motherfucker, you just having sex, it's not a big deal. A motherfucker call you with some bullshit, you can just ignore it because it's not your girlfriend. You don't got to give a damn. You just want some ass. When you get in a relationship with a motherfucker, that is your problem now. Like, and I mean, because the thing that kills men, right, that stresses men out, is just that either men fall into the space of like, I want my girlfriend to, like, you know, just not talk too much and not cause problems. Or I'm going to buy her something so she, you know, shuts up. Or I'm going to just pay all the bills to make her happy. I don't want her to be angry at me. The point of all this is you can't control none of this shit. So stop trying to control it. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm talking to you on this camera. I get pissed off sometimes like most niggas do. Even as a man, you have your limits. And again, that's the other part of it. You have to be able to manage yourself in order to manage her. Because you can't fly off the handle, punch a hole in the wall every time she does some woman type shit. Like, okay, I'll tell you, just from a person that's living it, right? Occasionally my girlfriend will piss me off. And she'll know it too. She'll piss me off. Occasionally I piss off. When she gets too heated, like, okay, I've been a person that's been exploding so long as a man, I know when it's coming. And I've learned to let a bomb blow up in the field. So if I feel myself getting to the point where I'm angry, especially if I'm sober, I can feel it. I can feel my muscles tightening up when I get pissed off when I'm sober. I have to leave the house. I will walk somewhere. I'll sit in the parking lot for a minute, or I'll go to the gym. As a man, you have to manage your own frustration with women. Listen, I don't give a fuck what girl you date. Like, you can switch the girlfriend out that you have and date another one. You can get 2 or 3 different. Like, at some point, you're going to get sick of it, right? Because cohabitating with a woman, that's a level of day-to-day stress that you have to manage. So you can't just go and just fly off the handle, take a lamp, shove it through a window every time your wife or girlfriend piss you off. You know what I mean? There's a level of management that you got to have for self in order to be with a motherfucker long term. Because they're depending on you for you to be a safe space for you to manage it. Now, my next point. Now, speaking of self, right? You have to be yourself. You have to be yourself in your relationship. It's the only way it's going to work. My girlfriend likes to go shop. She likes to, and I mean when she shops, she likes to linger in the store, parlay, bullshit. I'm searching this. I'm looking at this lamp, looking at this vase. This vase don't look right. I want to put this bag in. I'm gonna be out with the girls. Get it. You have to be yourself. At least a version of yourself. Like you can't sit there and be in a relationship and pretend to be someone else for another motherfucker because eventually you're gonna crack. Especially as a man, you will be lashing when you sit there and suppress yourself for another motherfucker to make them feel better. Eventually, you are gonna lash out. Like it's better to get that shit off in little doses or whatever the case may be, and get that shit out and have it be micro arguments instead of like holding it in, and then just exploding all at once. That's good because here's the thing, right? About being a man, right? I don't give a fuck what type of man you are, big, small, tall, whatever the case may be. A woman, one, is going to eventually push you to a breaking point. You know what I mean? And I mean in a cohabitation situation. Two, when you get to said breaking point, you are going to unleash a hell have no fury and an anger on her like she's never seen. Most women cannot be around men that get angry. And I mean angry to the point where they're breaking glass, slamming tables, yanking shit from the wall, like destroying property, shooting, grabbing knives. I mean, just as a man, you have to one, be yourself, and two, find an outlet. Like you have to have hobbies for yourself. So when Terry Joe's talking about, having a girlfriend's not worth it, it's only not worth it if you're gonna be in a relationship and really be her bitch for the most part. And I'm saying her bitch loosely, meaning like you're doing everything you can to make her happy instead of doing everything you can to make yourself happy. And speaking of aggression, right? Every man for the most part, right? Whether you are a very calm man on the surface or underneath, whatever the case may be, all of us have an undertone of violence. There's a reason why you don't see two niggas yelling at each other in public. There's a reason why a woman can yell at a man and nothing happens. We're different, all right? More than likely, you're not going to see two dudes be talking to each other crazy in public. Reason being is because two men, listen, if a nigga ever run up on me and start yelling at me, like, oh my God, I pray for the day a dude gets bold enough to yell at me and talk to me like I'm 3 feet tall. I pray for it because I'm going to snap his neck in the middle of broad daylight. Like, and it's a slow, trying to figure out how to describe it. It's a slow, like, okay, you ever like eat food out of a crock pot? It's a slow boil. Like the way things work with men, right? Your girlfriend might have said something to you on Tuesday. You didn't say anything about it. You let it slide. You don't want to argue about it. She said something again on Thursday. You don't want to argue. You let it slide. It's not a big deal. I don't want to argue about it. She says it a third time on Saturday. You snap. Like, and I say that loosely. Like, because eventually as a man, I didn't mean to say I scared my cat. But as a man, eventually, I don't care who you are, your woman will take you slowly, day by day, year by year. And I'm telling you, it don't matter how patient you are, how level-headed you are. A woman in general, because we are wired different. A woman in general, as a man, will bring you to a breaking point slowly. And it's not like she needs to do it. She's just being a woman. So as a man, you have to manage your own shit around a woman. Because you'll end up choking the bitch if you sitting there letting the motherfucker like just get you mad any kind of way. Now look. Trying to figure out what to word it. It's a gradual frustration. And that's another thing too, right? Let's go here. I got better. Let's go here. Sex, right? Sex. If you are in a long-term relationship, the idea of sex is going to change. I think people get in relationships and in marriages not understanding, like, okay, I'm trying to figure out what to word it. My girlfriend is not the same person that she was when I met her. She was 24. She's 28 now, about to be 29. We done been together for a minute. So it's like the identity and the idea of sex is going to change, right? You have to be A, cool with that, or B, be ready to leave. Because I'm telling you, as a man, if your woman ever get to a point where she stop fucking, like, and it could be for a month, it could be for 2 months, you have to leave. You have to. Because you are going to become slowly indifferent. Meaning, like, look, I get women go through moves and shit and this, that, third. But the thing about being with a man is a consistent day in, day out job. Meaning like you're not gonna just decide one day, I'm gonna stop fucking my man for a month because I'm pissed off. Like just because he didn't take out the trash one day, I'm not gonna give him no pussy. That is a good way to undo your relationship. Because the way our brains work as men, when a motherfucker ain't getting no sex, and it's done been a while, you stop looking at this, you start looking at your woman like an op. Because you're disconnecting from her. Like you love her, but it's like an indifference type of love. Like you're there for her, you care about her, you love her. Like, yeah, you love her, but it's like you looking at this motherfucker like, bitch, you ain't did shit for me lately. And that's the thing about us. We like being served. Meaning like you love when your girl cook. You love when the girl clean the house. You love when your girl's affectionate. Those are all like serving a man for the most part, right? You remove the sex aspect from it, the relationship will slowly die. Maybe not so much on the woman's end, but from a dude's perspective, that not fucking shit. Like, but I mean, I'll say this on the other hand too. One thing I've had to learn just from being in a relationship for a while, and I know and this is another thing that he didn't mention, right? Emotional maintenance, right? Now, us as dudes, we don't have as many emotions as women, so sometimes the shit that women get mad about, we kind of don't give a fuck, but we do give a fuck about you, the person. But the things you get mad about, we don't give a fuck about it. Does it make sense? Like, I don't care that your homegirl necessarily says some dumb shit to you at work. Like, I don't relate. Men don't connect to drama and just shit that happens. Like, okay, a problem to us is like someone taking a wrecking ball and knocking a hole through that wall, or you driving and your transmission fall at the bottom of your car. That's a problem. What some bitch said to you in traffic while you was trying to get coffee, that's not a problem. So when you tell it to a motherfucker, he tends to like, he hears you, but he's just looking at you like, like you give a fuck, but you just like, you're not invested. You know what I mean? But I'll say this as a man, right? Just being in a relationship, you have to be involved, invested, and engaged in that type of stuff. As petty as it is, as small as it is, as much as you feel like it's minuscule, that type of shit is important to a woman. This kind of goes into managing a woman for the most part, right? You can't be sitting on the couch with your girl and tune out of the shit she's saying, even if you don't necessarily fuck with it. Like, because that type of shit is important to women. Women connect to us through emotions, right? Like, sex is one thing to them, but like you just, to them, they're just getting humped unless they're in the mood for it. They're just, okay, we're just serving and doing a job. But that emotional maintenance shit, like that being engaged, that being present in the home shit, that's a big deal. Like, and what most dudes tend to go through, like a lot of times they're in the house, but they're not here. Their mind is somewhere else, whether it be work, on some other woman. And let's get into that while we're sitting here, right? Other women. This comes with knowing self. This comes with knowing self. Listen, I got a cousin right now. He's a serial polygamist. And that's what I call him. He's a serial polygamist. Nigga got 5 wives. As long as I've known him, he's never been the type of nigga to keep his dick to himself. Like, and what I'm saying is you have to tailor your relationship based on that. I'm the kind of motherfucker, listen, as long as the sex is good with one motherfucker and the sex is banging, I'm good. Like, I don't need the stress of 5 different bitches around me. That's too much. I'm telling you, I don't care to hear a girl's problems. I don't give a fuck. I never gave a fuck. But I give a fuck about my girlfriend. So the shit she go through, I'll listen to that shit. You know what I mean? I'm here for that. I will listen to that because I'm here for it. She care about me. She cook me food. I'll listen to that. But just some chick that just is upset because you didn't text back? Like, girl, please stab yourself. I don't care. But what I'm getting at is you have to know yourself in relation to women. Meaning like, okay, if you the type of nigga that want to, have a wife and have a girlfriend on the side, you need to tell her that. Like, and I mean from the jump before this shit gets serious. If you the type of dude you only want to be with one woman and you can handle and manage one woman, be with that one woman. Because here's the thing, right? I say all that to say this, the cheating thing. Like, because another point he made in that video was like, oh, most men want more than one woman, right? Most men want more than one woman. Visually, most guys look at other women, look at porn, you know what I mean? It's you fall somewhere on that scale, whatever the case may be. But the cheating thing, right? When you cheat on a woman, It's not so the cheating affects each side differently. When you cheat on a woman, one, it's the cheating itself is fucked up. But what you're not prepared for is how long she's gonna bring that shit up. Meaning, like, okay, you cheat on your woman, let's say right now, like, it's 2024. That motherfucker will bring that shit up in 2030. And if you're gonna continue to be with this girl after you done cheated on her, you don't know how long she gonna keep bringing that shit up, and how, because women feel emotions. So it's like a motherfucker ain't gonna sit there and just, like, she'll fuck with you for a little while, she'll love you, but she won't love you as much if she take you back. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, do you really want to keep hearing that shit for the rest of your life while you with this woman because you couldn't keep your dick to yourself? You better off telling a motherfucker, listen, I'm the type of guy that likes dealing with multiple women and have them accept that, versus you sitting there, you thinking you monogamous and on the same shit, and a motherfucker cheat, and then now you got to deal with her breaking it up every 2-3 years. Like, that's too much stress. Like, you got to think of the whole thing 360. I said the same thing even in the middle relationship, right? If you're getting the, because look, in real life, despite all this dumb shit motherfuckers say on the internet, life is not realistic. I mean, not realistic. Life ain't perfect. At some point, you're going to want to look at another woman. Like, men are just wired that way. Like, same thing with women. Women, eventually, a woman's going to get to a point where she do some dumb shit. Like, it's just in their nature. Like, at least from our perspective, right? As far as the other woman shit, when he was talking about that, right? You are better off sitting that girl down, talking to her about it, being truthful, you know what I mean? And not being deceptive if other women is what you want. You are better off saying that shit straight up to her. And listen, be prepared for her to, like, tweak out. Like, because she's going to short circuit, she's going to get upset. Right? But better to have that little bit of moment of her tweaking out and bugging out over what you may feel or want, you know what I'm saying? Versus her catching you in the lie. Because when you get caught in the lie, not only did you cheat, but now you're untrustworthy. So now I can't believe shit that you said. And then too, you're shattering the aura of protection that she kind of like, okay, you understand something? When you are in a relationship, a motherfucker look up to you. Like, if you got the right girl, they look up to you in some way. So when you do some old bullshit, like, okay, picture going into an alley in Harlem and finding Superman smoking crack. Like, that's how it is. Like, when you cheat on your girl, it's such a devastating blow. You looking at it like, Superman, you're in this motherfucker doing heroin? Like, you, nigga? Like, nah, I thought you stood for truth and justice in the American way. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's how motherfuckers look at you when you decide to do some underhanded shit versus, like, being man enough to bring it to them and being able to, like, be okay with it. Which brings me to my next point. Listen, despite how much you love your woman, despite how much she does for you, despite how much I've been through, at some point, motherfucker gonna challenge you. All right? And here's the thing. You gotta be prepared to lose that girl. I don't give a fuck how much you love her. I don't give a fuck if I have kids. I'm telling you, because here's the thing. I'll do it, put it like this on me, right? Because I've been through it personally. My baby mama didn't care that we had a kid. My baby mama didn't care that I wanted a family. She didn't care. Like, when a motherfucker don't give a fuck and they want to do what the fuck they want to do, they're going to do what the fuck they want to do. Like, they're not, like, okay, when a bitch go on a late night, right, get drunk and suck a dick, like, she's not thinking about her family at home. Like, most motherfuckers don't. Like, and the thing about when women do it, they're not like, oh my God, I want to break up with you. They kind of just want to experience some tall, dark, and handsome nigga just for a night, and then I want to go back to my husband. Like, but unfortunately, you got down on, folks got on, once they got down on one knee, had a whole ceremony, I had vows. What I'm getting at here is that people fuck up, right? So either you gonna be okay with the fuck up, or you gotta be one of them type of niggas that's gonna leave behind the shit you believe in. What I'm saying is this, as a man, you have to really be willing to die on a hill behind the shit that you believe in with a woman. A motherfucker's gonna push you, test you, feel some kind of way. Oh, he's an asshole, he's a pussy because he left. Listen, nigga, leave. It's not worth your self-respect. I'm telling it to you from a person that's lived it. That whole, a motherfucker doing bullshit, laying up on the other dudes and I just want to come home any kind of way. Listen, when a woman don't respect you, a motherfucker will plant a bomb under your bed and watch it blow up. A motherfucker will help you look for shit that they stole. Like, a woman that doesn't respect you, it will single-handedly take you. You end up in a hospital because a motherfucker will bring a dude in your house and don't give a fuck what happened to you. Because I say all that because a lot of girls, like, okay, emotions don't have no faculty. Like, okay, as a man, for the most part, when you're brought up, for the most part, if you're a decent guy, you're raised to be honorable, don't cheat, don't steal, obey the law, protect your family, look out for your kids. All that moral shit is instilled in a man for the most part if you are a decent dude. A lot of girls in this day and age do not walk around with that. They go wherever their feelings take them. And if their feelings take them in a direction to where it's not respectable for you in a relationship, it's time you got to get the fuck away from that motherfucker because she'll do anything to you. Like, a motherfucker will rob you. They'll fuck up your credit. Man, I'm telling you, my baby mama used to wreck cars. She dumb shit. She would lie. Like, a motherfucker will lie like a motherfucker. Like, my baby mama took me through so much shit that was unnecessary, and you just be sitting as a dude wondering why. Why the fuck do I why can't you just act right? You be sitting there asking yourself that. It's like, oh, we got all this family, we built all this stuff together, and we have a house, and we have 2 children, we have cars, we have so much time invested. When a bitch feelings kick in, all that shit don't matter. I don't give a fuck what paperwork you sign. I don't give a fuck how good the sex is, what y'all have on payments together, your marriage vows, you file taxes. When a bitch feelings kick in, all that shit don't matter. And that's where I agree with him at. Because I've lived it. When a motherfucker don't love you or respect you anymore, they'll do anything to you and don't give a fuck what happened to you. Your respect as a man, and I'm doing the little finger emoji, your respect as a man is paramount. It's more important than food. It's more important than bread and water. You have to have it. If you do not have your respect in your relationship, you can't be there. Because a motherfucker will do anything to you. Like, okay, like say you get in a fight with another dude, right? And I'm dragging this shit out way too long, but fuck it, right? I told you there's going to be a long video. When you get in a fight with another dude, we as two men know universally, you don't kick a nigga between the knees. Not between the knees, but between the legs. Most dudes don't go straight for the nuts. Women, however, when they don't like you, when they don't fuck with you, and they don't respect you, they'll kick you right in front of your dick. And man, I remember one time I came over to my baby mama's house to hang out, right? I had bought her an apartment, right? And I'll never forget this shit. I'm sitting there because her mama got mad at her, kicked out. So I got her an apartment. This is all based off my income at the time when I was in the Navy. I watched this motherfucker. Like, okay, the guy she was talking to at the time, he walked in the house that I was paying for. Walked in, didn't knock, didn't say shit, didn't say hello, grabbed his shoes and walked right back out. I watched my baby mama go downstairs and lie to this man and tell him, oh, he tried to force himself on me. I'm telling you, when a bitch don't respect you, you cannot, listen, you can't share the same postal code with a bitch that don't respect you. You have to get away from her. Like, a motherfucker, and listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, bro, but life is not fucking fair for a man. Well, life ain't fair in general. But I'm saying, as a man, when you want to be honorable and a girl don't give a fuck about none of that, ain't nothing you can do. So, and again, that's why I agree with him at. Like, because in this day and age, these girls in this day and age, y'all are way too disrespectful. And y'all are way too comfortable with it. Like, y'all want the world for nothing. Like, a lot of shit with the divorce court and all this other shit. Listen, personally, me, I love commitment. I have no problem with commitment. I don't have a problem with even being married. It's the divorce I don't fuck with. I see too many men get reamed in court. I mean, it's the same old that's been said, the same old. You know what I mean? Seeing too many men get reamed. And I mean, good, honorable men that took on a bitch and her and another nigga's kids and had a kid with her, everything, had a house, put the house in her name, y'all shared it, all this joint custody bullshit, sharing last names and this and the third. And because y'all breaking up, motherfucker don't want you to ever see your kids again and take the house and be fucking another nigga in that motherfucker. Listen, it's not about, being a good person. It's about what can happen to you, right? When I drive a truck every day, and I don't ever mention it, but there's a chance that I could die. There's been times I've been driving trucks and stupid shit has happened. I've had my trailer come apart on me on the fifth wheel. I've almost dropped the before. I've almost gotten in wrecks. I've had people swerve in front of me. I've had people flip me off, try to fight me, and all this stuff happens on a day-to-day, and I never mention it. You know what I mean? But that's a part of what comes with it. When you get married to a motherfucker, the other half of the marriage is divorce. When you get married, the other half of that marriage is divorce. There is a chance that that woman you are dealing with could love you today, flip around, and say fuck you tomorrow and take everything you got. Like, and I hate saying things like that. But what I'm saying is this. If it's a possibility, it's a probability. Chances are it can happen to you. Like, it can happen to you. I could walk outside this house right now and get shot right in the head. It's a chance that it can happen. Now, the probability of it may be low, but there's a chance that it can happen. And you have to account for that as a man. So, again, there's points that Terry Joel made through the video that I agree with to some degree. I'm not saying he was talking about marriage, but I can see why he feels like, dealing with a woman ain't worth it to some degree. Because the risk you take on versus the result in, like, okay, because the way men think, we want something for the shit we give. Meaning, like, if I'm paying bills, I want my respect and love. If I'm helping run the house, I want to be appreciated. You want to, and I'm not saying women don't too, but I'm speaking from the perspective of a dude. Like, okay, having a girlfriend for me, right? It makes me work harder. Reason why I work harder is because I have something to care about. When you're by yourself as a man, you don't gotta give a fuck. Like, you think my house will look like this? Like, you think I'm gonna have the nice cabinets, the giraffe, the picture, the couch, the folded blankets, the vacuum, the smell, my room, her space, her closet, the food she cooked? You think I give a fuck about any of that? But I've also come to understand as a man that there's a plus side of like okay, there's a difference between checking into a Motel 6 and a motherfucker in NBC Suites. Depending on what woman you get. You picking up what I'm putting down? Like, the right woman will make your life more comfortable if you know how to manage it. And when you duck out on, I don't want to be in a relationship because she might fuck me over, that's you missing out on that part of life, the softer side. Because, I mean, listen, there's a big difference between working and coming home to a full-course meal and working and coming home and having to boil noodles. You can do it, you'll survive, but the difference in quality is what matters. Like, I'm going to just give you like a little mini house tour, right? Because I'm actually in my bag in this video, so I'm really just talking. Check this out, right? That's Toria stuff. I'm just showing you shit from my house. This table, this is Toria. That giraffe, that's Toria. That's Toria. That's Toria. All this is Toria. The couch, the stuff in the back, the bike, that's Toria. The TV, that's Toria. Peachy, this fat motherfucker here, that's Toria. The cabinet, this is her grandma's cabinet. Like, bro, this shit is plush as a motherfucker. Man, the fridge full shit laced as a some bitch. Listen, man, what I'm getting at is this. You can duck and avoid a relationship, but there's benefits to it when you able to. This shit is a castle. This shit is plush. To me, it's plush as a motherfucker, and I appreciate the shit out of it. Because I've had to sleep in hotels and roach motels for a nuclear plant. I've had to sleep out my car for a job. I've had to sleep out of a truck. This is the first time I've had a home since maybe living with my mom. Like, and that's what a woman brings to the table if you are able to, help her out with the things she has going on, manage her stress, the shit that bothers her. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is there's benefits to it. It's not just a one-sided deal. You know what I mean? But on to my final and, most important point of this video. All right, the most important point. Despite everything I've said so far to this point, it all adds up to one thing. Experience. Right? Good relationships, bad relationships. I'm telling you, like, okay, I couldn't appreciate all this shit that I have if I didn't deal with fucked up women to begin with. Like, dealing with a fucked up woman makes you appreciate a good woman. A motherfucker that give a fuck about you. Man, I tell you one time, right? I remember I got sick. And I mean, I got sick for like a week. I mean, I couldn't work out. I was dragging myself through work. I was, oh my God, just the worst, right? It wasn't COVID, but it felt like I was dying, right? Don't you know that motherfucker nursed my black ass back to health? Hey, take these pills, lay down. I'm to make you a plate. Don't move. Don't worry about it. It almost brings a tear to my eye sometimes when I think about it, because I'm not used to a motherfucker outside my own mama and my sister giving a fuck about me this much. Like, hey, his orange juice, don't worry about it. Listen, I'm gonna fluff your pillows. When you get a woman that gives a fuck about you, it's night and day compared to. Because I mean, listen, as a man, you can sit here and live in the harsher with a mattress on the floor, and I'm not knocking that mattress being on the floor, but you can live with some regular rinky dink ass man cave. But I'd rather have this shit personally. Like, but experience. If you don't never run the streets, if you don't never have a stable full of hoes, like most of you niggas, y'all, like, okay, you never drunk outside from a water hose and it shows. Because when you get around some nice shit, you don't appreciate it because you never went through no hardship. You never had a girl flake on you. Like, you have to, like, okay, I could not manage this relationship the way I do had I not had all those other prior fucked up experiences. All that shit my baby mama took me through. All them shit them motherfuckers from Florida, all them bitches from Florida took me through. Man, listen, if I get into the Florida half of my life, we'll be here all night. But I digress, right? The thing that kills me the most about that Terry Joe video is that when niggas opt out of a relationship, you're opting out of the experience. What the foundation of a man, the shit that really makes him solid, that makes him, be able to handle shit, is being able to go through experience and survive it, and being able to tell the story and pull from the story and pull from the experience to help you now. You know what I mean? If I was a motherfucker that ain't never did shit, just sat home all day, play Xbox, and okay, because I used to do that. But if let's say I continue that until my 20s, until I'm like my late 20s and my 30s, the biggest problem that you niggas are gonna have when y'all opt out of like having a girlfriend, one of these days, at some point, you're gonna meet a girl that you like. But you're gonna be 30, right? You're gonna be 30 when you meet her, right? You're gonna get in a relationship, you're gonna date her, and you're not gonna know what the fuck to do. Like, because you've been avoiding being in relationships with girls friends so long that you don't know how to navigate nothing that's going on in real time, right? The good thing about, dealing with a lot of women or running around or just have lived and spent time with women or just had bad experiences, you learn how to handle it. Okay, yeah, if you're a mountain, and you're a soft mountain, water will eventually corrode it, but you're still a fucking mountain at the end of the day. Like, you are the pillar, the rock that holds all this shit together. And it's hard to do that if you ain't never been through shit. Took no loss. Got your ass whooped. Man, I remember one time a girl almost got me shot. Like, but you go through these things, you live, you experience, and I don't talk enough about it, but being with Toria has literally changed my life. I'm still me, but I'm a different me now. Like, I like working out, right? I've always liked I probably shouldn't be talking so late because I'm gonna get up at 2 something in the morning and go to the gym. I would have never did that 5 years ago. Like, I would have been like, nah, let me go to the strip club. I gotta find the whole. You know what's funny? 5-6 years ago, well, I'd probably say a little bit longer than that. 5-6 years ago, strip clubbing was my life. That was my life. You couldn't keep me out of a strip club. Now I can't stand strippers. Like, because I don't like the idea of a motherfucker drop humping me for my money. Like, but between that, and it's like I fuck with the gym sparingly. Now it's like I live to work out. I leave the house for 2 reasons: to make money and work out. I don't care to hang with male friends. I'm not every nigga's friend. I'm not your buddy. I'm not your motherfucking pal. I don't give a fuck what problems you go through with whatever bitch you with. If you're not one of my niggas, I don't give a shit. I got advice to offer for weeks on end. What I'm saying is this. That first little stretch when I met Toria, right? I used to just drink energy drinks and tag along with her to the gym. And maybe at the time she may not have thought about it, but, innately she was, for a person that struggles to go to the gym, to have a gym partner that loves going to the gym is the best way to get into the gym. Now, I am the gym person. Like, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for my job, if I didn't have to drive that fucking truck, I'd be at the gym every goddamn day. Every day. And I'm committed to it, and I know I'm committed to it. That's what she did for me. Just tagging along with a person that's just like walking on a treadmill. It's funny to think about, but no, I think about, just the changes that happened in my life and everything, the people that I met, the New York culture. I've always been a motherfucker that loved New York, but since I was a kid, it's just from when you live in Georgia, New York is so far removed, you don't think the place exists. But what I'm saying is, bro, when you duck out on the experience of having a girlfriend, when you don't, for as negative as it could be, right? All the stuff that happens on social media and everything everyone says. When you duck out on having a girlfriend, you're ducking out on life. Because, okay, even if it goes bad, you learn from that experience. And now, the shit that makes you sad about most men today is that most men are bitches. Most men are scared to be a part of or partake in life. Like, man, I remember when I was younger, having the right phone numbers on fucking napkins to get girls. Like, there was none of this cell phone shit back then. But now every nigga, niggas don't even approach bitches anymore, right? And I'm not saying that to be reminiscing on my past, but I remember having the right phone numbers down on paper. So when y'all motherfuckers talking about, I don't want to have a girlfriend, I don't even want to be, you're ducking out on the entire experience of life. Now, I get not wanting to have a girlfriend because you're not ready for one, but at some point, it's like niggas don't account for age. You're going to get to a point where you're going to want to be with somebody long term. You're like, man, just having a home shit, when you got a motherfucker that cares about a home, you can't beat it, man. And you're not going to be able to, I don't think I'd be the person I am today, man, honestly, if I never met Toria. She changed that much shit. She changed that much, and I'll give her credit for it. I'm still me, but I'm a completely different nigga. Man, I would go as far as to say if I never met Toria, I'd be in prison. Because when I left Georgia, I was gonna kill you motherfuckers. I was this close to buying a Glock 40, and I was gonna iron out whoever the fuck I had problems with. And I ain't give a fuck what happened. When I met her, when I was driving trucks, she gave me a place to stay. You know what I mean? Kept me away from all that bullshit. Even though we went through our own hell, it was still a chance for me to, work toward a different life. You know what I mean? And I'm a whole. And damn cat's tearing up still. But no, it gave me a chance to, to restart my life. Because I'm telling you, I'm so done with the South. And not everybody, but just for the most part, I'm getting off on a tangent here. But, if I never, gave it a chance, if I never, gave her a shot, you know what I mean? I'd still be out here running around with these hoes, bro. And I'm just, oh my God. The shit my homeboys tell me about, the shit that you bitches is putting these niggas through, it's not worth it. I argue with that girl. I'd rather argue with that woman 1,000 times than to go back to fucking with you bitches. It is not worth it, bro. I don't care, bro. It's not. But again, to Terry Joe's point, I get why he feels that way, but I just think he's doing himself a huge disservice by not giving some chick a chance. I'm not saying that to just go in and head first and not give a fuck, but to you have to be okay with living life and taking whatever risks come from it. I mean, I don't know how. I think I don't actually run out of shit to say, but man, you have to be willing to be a part of this life shit, and that may include getting your heart broken, getting your ass whooped, getting stomped on. Peach. Oh my God, this cat. But you see this motherfucker just doing the most. But look, man, I think it's totally worth having a girlfriend. I really do. And I'm telling it to you from my experience because it is done wonders for my life. I'm a whole different person now because of it. I'm a better person because of it. Because I have something to give a fuck about now and I have a future to build. And one of these days, I'm going to pay all the bills in this house from this girl because she does too much for me. She deserves it. I can honestly look myself in the mirror and say that. So, that's not me just spinning a narrative or trying to sound cool for YouTube or wherever I upload this. That motherfucker has done the world for me. And I can honestly say that. I can look you in your eyes and say it and not blink. You know what I mean? I've done a lot for her. I mean, we do a lot for each other. But, I just think Terry Joe is doing himself a huge disservice by not at least being open to the idea. Not saying not to run around, not get your nut off. Pete, you are fucking up my video. not to say that it don't matter or does matter. You know what I mean? Like, bro, just be open to the idea of it. With the right chick. With the right chick, I'll say specifically. Like, but I've left my quesadillas in the microwave too long. And I'm gonna eat them. And I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna fucking crush this workout at 2 in the goddamn morning. All right. Hopefully my alarm go off. But I'm gonna get up in the morning and I'm gonna work my motherfucking ass off, and that's because I got a future to build for my girlfriend and my daughter and my mom and even the do shit with my sister. There's too much riding on my existence for me to just be like, oh, I'm gonna just work a job and do my regular 9 to 5, and the future to me matters too much. So with that being said, y'all do what y'all do, I do what I do. You know the slogan. To the Batmobile.